Yeah, it should be fine. So, I mean, there's only one thing to talk about right now, right?
That
thing.
All right.
Donald Trump is once again the president, 47th,
DJT.
sworn in as the 47th president of the United States.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed right away, like even before it began, they were showing video of stuff, and let's back up just the day before the inauguration. Joe Biden, in his last moments as president, decided, I'm going to pardon some more people. So what did he do? He pardoned Anthony Fauci, General Milley, and I want to say Liz Cheney. Was it Liz Cheney too?
It was somebody.
Or am I
had
making
a list
that up?
one too. No, I don't know if it was Liz. It might have been Liz Cheney.
But not only that, he pardoned 5 members of his own family there for crimes, any crimes they may or may, non-violent crimes they may or may not have committed since January 2014.
Which is funny because I was reading something that made total sense. And obviously, like, how do you pardon somebody for something if they haven't done anything? Like, a pardon is only if you've done something. Isn't that admitting guilt before anything's ever come?
He wanted to make sure that it was known that this is in no way an admission of guilt.
Sure.
It's to protect people that may come after him.
Well, then it shouldn't be a thing unless somebody's actually convicted. So somebody go, I'm going to pardon you, but you haven't done anything wrong, so your pardon means nothing, so that's gone.
What if you say, Dad, I slaughtered a family of Cambodian refugees a year ago? Like, you think, I haven't been charged. Do they know you did it? No, I got away clean, man. They actually arrested somebody else. Like, I'm good. Like,
keep your fucking mouth shut.
I'm going to pardon you for any crimes you may or may not have committed.
I mean, how can a pardon be official if there's nothing that they've been convicted of?
Exactly.
So
I don't get it.
It should be null and void.
And I love that he says that this is in no way, like, I'm paraphrasing, but
nobody's above law, John.
Unless you're a member of the Biden. You know what? It's just so rampantly corrupt nowadays because Trump's going to do it. Everybody does it. Biden's just done it to an extreme degree.
Yeah.
But I love it. I absolutely fucking love it.
Yeah.
Like, here's one thing, like Anthony Fauci, that kind of stung. I'm like, oh, maybe could have got him on some crimes. But like, let's be honest.
Can't that be overturned though by the Senate or by somebody? Can't they go in and say, well, he's not convicted of anything, so he can't be pardoned?
The pardon powers are absolute. Like, that's it.
Dude, no fucking way.
There's nothing more powerful than that presidential pardon. Apparently, I'm not a lawyer, a fucking constitutional lawyer by any means, but from what I've heard, that is absolute.
So I was reading the comments section of one of those things, and somebody had said, like, because they're not actually convicted or of a crime, that the pardon is null and void. It doesn't mean anything, and it's more of Biden's last attempt of saying, like, hey, man, I tried. Like, look, I tried to do that, even if it gets overturned.
I right in there, I don't know how you can overturn it. From everything I've heard, like, that's it. That's absolute.
That's crazy, dude.
Fucking the Fauci thing, like I said, that kind of stung, but like, let's be honest, like, they were never going to put him on trial. Like, Trump was never, like, it was a lot of talk, kind of like Hillary, lock her up. And when it came down to it, like, oh, I think it'll be bad for the country. Same kind of deal, I guarantee, with Fauci would have happened. But this is mildly satisfying, in my opinion, because it's almost as good as an admission of guilt. Like, if this isn't saying you did some fucked up shit, I don't know what is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so that
the internet's undefeated, dude. The internet keeps receipts. Everybody, like, people are going back to the whole AIDS epidemic, and there's RFK's book that spelled out a bunch of stuff. I think he wrote that book about Fauci, but yeah, man, it's everybody knows.
I hope one day that he's made to pay for this in what karmic retribution or whatever. I mean, he's an old man at this point. I mean, he could die just of natural causes tomorrow. But somebody brought up something. I was listening to. I don't know what I was listening to, but it was a listener question, and the listener said he had heard that, and we couldn't get clarification on it during the interview. But if they were made to testify in some sort of trial about related crimes, like, let's just say they brought Fauci in as a witness because they were bringing somebody else up on crimes of creating COVID.
Yeah.
They brought Fauci in as a witness. He can no longer plead the fifth because there's no such thing as self-incrimination because you've been pardoned of all crimes during this period. So you can't plead the fifth. And then if you lie under oath, then that's a whole separate crime. You've now committed a crime, and you can go back and open up all
he can actually go on record now saying I did it.
Yeah.
But he can't get in trouble for it.
Right.
Yeah.
But if he lies, now you
So he almost has to say I did it.
It's a felony to lie under oath, so they could get him for
Trump
that.
should find every opportunity, and RFK should find every opportunity to pull him in as a witness.
They won't. They're just fucking, all they're caring about, I shouldn't say RFK, but all Trump cares about is making more money. I'm convinced of it. These fucking little shit meme coins that he's coming out with. It's,
Did you see
the Trump coin, the Melania coin? It's all pump and dump.
Did you see the investors? They were showing the breakdown of it. That Ian Carroll guy. I mean, I think it was him. He was explaining like the science, and it wasn't him. The science behind it of like how that actually works and why it is what it is. But like all of the big investors that Trump had initially, because they're the ones who made the most money off it.
Sure.
There was somebody who invested $1 million, and that $1 million in 24 hours turned into $315 million.
And if he would have pulled out the day after, it would have been $315. Like
fucking wild, dude.
Yeah, because that's all it is. The people that put in money right at the beginning, it's the pump and dump. Pump all the money in to elevate the price.
Yank it out.
Pull it out the next day. That's what Haktua got in trouble for, but Trump's not going to get in trouble for it. They said, there was a graph that Trump came out with his stupid shit coin. The stock went through the roof. Fucking retards bought it. Oh, this is going to be the next thing. It's rich. Going to get rich. And then like the Melania coin came out shortly after, and the Trump coin was up here. And as soon as the Melania coin came out, Trump one went just like that. So the next stupid thing he comes up, Melania coin is going to go to shit. Everyone's going to lose their fucking money except for the people that were in on the scam.
Was the symbol on it, was it the Joker, the original Jack Nicholson Joker wearing the purple outfit like she had on the...
People were making fun
of
it.
The Hamburglar one was funny too, yeah.
So people caught on to that in like the late night shows. They were making fun of her. Like I think Jimmy Fallon came out in the Hamburglar hat. Like, that was pretty good. Yeah. Especially with the low brow, like you're getting ready to rob a stagecoach.
Yeah.
What the fuck was like? That was an interesting hat.
It was very Milan fashion show.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm not a fashionista.
Well, I'm not either, but it just looked like it was out of place.
But it was still better than Fetterman showing up in fucking shorts and flip flops.
Hell yeah!
You know what's fucked up? Like that's kind of his.
It's 20 degrees.
That's his shtick. He always wears.
He's
short.
A bum.
He's a bum.
Yeah.
But do you know when he dressed up, put on a fucking suit?
President Biden?
No, when fucking Netanyahu came to speak to Congress.
Sure he did.
He put on a fucking suit.
Yeah.
For a foreign leader, but won't do it for the inauguration.
America.
What does that tell you about maybe who his allegiance lies with?
Yeah.
Right?
Probably his handlers.
Dude, fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, that was kind of just a little side note I caught going into the fucking inauguration. Like, wow, that's some fucking crazy shit.
That's such a douche.
He says some things I like and some other shit I don't like, but when you see stuff like this and he was able to put on a suit for Netanyahu, like that, I'm like, okay, I get what your allegiance lies here, dude. That's interesting. So, mic cut out for. You hear that? I feel like my mic was cutting out. You're good? You hear it? Okay.
I hear you.
So on to the inauguration. Got any takeaways?
So I didn't watch all of it. I only saw a little bit, and then I told myself I was going to watch the replay and get caught up.
Yeah.
Which I didn't. I heard about all I really know is the Carrie Underwood thing about how she was waiting for the music never kicked in.
Yeah, like started and then cut out immediately.
Yeah. So I called her and I got the story from her because we're pretty tight.
Nice.
And then the image of Barron Trump saying something to Biden. Did you see that?
Yeah, like I don't know what he was saying.
And nobody knows. The internet's all abuzz about what he said.
It looked very respectful. He went over and shook his hand.
But they show Biden's face that goes from like kind of a smile to kind of a.
But that could just be a fucking dimension.
Yeah,
he's in and out. So he's in and out.
There's tons of posts saying we think this is what it is, but of course,
the people that do the lip reading are pretty good.
Yeah,
they got the shit that Biden and Obama were saying at Jimmy Carter's thing.
Was it real or was it like the bad lip reading?
It was the good lip reading, but again, I mean, it matched what their lips were saying. But was it? I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah. You were talking about Barron, talking about like Biden being an old kind of senile man.
Yeah.
Did you see one of his last speeches? I should have tagged it, but one of his last speeches, he pulled another one of those moments where he just reads he pulled a Burgundy. It was like,
pause.
It was like he was reading a quote and then it says end quote and he reads end quote.
Oh,
God damn it, man. Yeah, it's time you left. Thank God.
Did you have any big takeaways from that, or is there something that jumped out at you?
I mean, his speech was kind of talking about everything he ran on. He talked about border security, making the cartels a terrorist organization.
I did hear about that,
which we can talk about that a little bit. Yeah, he hit on, hey, we're gonna drill, make us, energy, independent, drill,
take
baby,
back the Panama Canal,
take back the Panama Canal from China.
Yeah.
He basically kind of went on a tirade about that.
How does that work? So of course we paid in building it. So like now we just walk in and occupy it militarily and say, hey, this is ours.
That's got to be the only way it works, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we just go, hey, that's ours, we want it back.
I mean, all this tough talk about China, like people think you just flip a switch and like China cowers. Like that is a massive superpower. Like their military, I think, is 3 times the size of ours. I mean,
if you watch any of their propaganda videos, they're all badasses.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing the U.S. has going for it is we've been at war.
We're taller.
And we're definitely taller. I don't know, man. I think the Chinese are genetically breeding.
Yeah, they could be. They could be.
Everyone's 6'5", huge dicks, jacked. Yeah. I mean, they can all be gymnasts, apparently.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we have going for us is we've been consistently at war for the last 20 plus years. Like we've got some experience. Yeah, we got some experience. Yeah. We know we got
salty war dogs.
We know how to kill.
Yeah.
But it'll be a different kind of war you're fighting China. So yeah, to answer your question, how does that work? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And the other thing, I mean, going along with that though, like I just wonder, like, what are your thoughts as far as like the military industrial complex and like what that, so all these things he's saying, hey, this is ours now. We're going to take this, we're going to do that. Is it just fueling that industry? Like, it sounds great and everyone's like, yeah, but is it really just a way of him lining his buddy's pockets?
It absolutely could be. I mean, it plays to his base, his MAGA base, like, yeah, fuck yeah, America, let's make America great again. We're doing this, we're doing that. And even I get kind of jacked about some of the rhetoric.
Sure.
Like I get pumped up.
It's hard not to.
You know, I get a patriotic boner every now and then. But
Absolutely.
when you sit back and think about it for
a
more
poner?
than I get a poner. But you sit back and think about it for more than a minute, and like it all of a sudden goes limp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you're like, yeah, wait.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
The next generation going into the military, and is this another needless, senseless deal?
Absolutely, it is. I mean, now I don't know the economics of the Panama Canal.
Sure,
maybe we are just getting raked over the coals in fees and stuff like that, and China's the one pulling the strings. Totally possible. So I don't think you go to war over that. I think that's just some economic shit that you hash out. Like, hey, let's get back to a little bit of
that's
fairness.
what I would assume, but you never know. I mean, there's always a bigger picture, I'm sure.
Yeah, like what did the deed of sale look like when we gave it to Panama? What did that look like? I mean, we went down there.
How did they get? I mean, how did China end up being the ones to occupy it? Like, why is it theirs?
Well, I think it's because Panama is a small, tiny little country, and if China comes in and says, "Hey, we're going to do this," you're cool with that, right?
Yes,
like,
boss.
You got it. China has made infrastructure all over. Like South America, the Caribbean, like they're quietly just, I can't remember what the fuck their project is called. Fuck, I don't know. But basically a 1,000-mile bridge or some shit like that. I'd have to look it up again. But it's basically their plan is to put this infrastructure all over the world. And they kind of say like, hey, Panama, we're going to come and build you roads and stuff like this. And like, why do those roads have to be so big and reinforced? You wouldn't want to put tanks on those, would you?
No.
No. I mean, just
safety first. Standards.
It's for your large vehicles over here that you have in Panama. Shit like that. Like, wait a minute. Why do we need a runway here? You do. Trust me. You need a runway.
Is that a helipad?
Yeah. Like, what? Are those Stinger missiles?
Yeah.
What's going on here? That's how they fucking do it. But they've got the money to do it. Yeah. And they can go like America used to do and does to a much lesser degree now. But China's kind of playing the long game. And apparently, during that long game, they've quietly taken control of the Panama Canal.
Yeah, and that's one of those things too, like with the long game, quietly, like that's one of those things that we need to check and make sure that they're not getting carried away and that we're falling behind. And, you know, there needs to be some balances that on our end we're taking care of. Like those are the types of necessary extracurriculars, I would say, like the military needs to be involved in. Like when people hear about shit, they're like, well, why are we involved in this? Why are we involved in that? Well, it's just so we can keep everything balanced.
I'm tired of being involved in the loud stuff. I want to get back to quietly.
Yeah.
I'm tired of fucking, America's got their hand on the wheel when it comes to this war, that war. Like we're constantly have conflicts in Africa.
Put us back in the dark. Don't let us know.
Yeah. Nobody even questions what these conflicts we have. Like, why are there, special ops? Why do we run missions down in Africa all the time?
Yeah.
Like nobody talks about that shit. Let's get back to quietly dominating.
Yeah.
No more of this loud shit.
Which is going to be hard with a president like Trump. Not a lot of quiet movement there.
Yeah. If there's a chance he can get to feed his ego, he's going to do it. Like, there's going to be zero secrecy. What was I going to say? So take back the Panama Canal. We got the Gulf of Mexico.
Gulf of America, John.
Sorry.
Gulf of America.
The Freedom Gulf.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is other than just significance of we can.
My dick's bigger than your dick.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, because let's be honest, like what are the map makers of the world and everybody else in the country in the world going to do? Like start calling everybody's going to call it the Gulf of America.
McNally is going to go back and change all their stuff.
No, they're going to call it the Gulf of Mexico. So that's just another one of those things just to give you the poner.
Yeah.
And I dig it.
I mean, I don't dislike it.
But I wonder, somebody has said this too, and I have no idea what the legalities of this again. I wish I was a fucking lawyer. But somebody said that Biden had put a halt to drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. What if there is no Gulf of Mexico?
Yeah.
What if it's the Gulf of America? Can we drill there?
Absolutely.
It's ours. Maybe somebody brought that. I'm like, like, I'm not going to look into that. I like the way it sounds.
I like the odds of our Navy versus Mexico's Navy as well.
Sure.
Like, we can take that Gulf and drill if we want.
Jackson watches these goofy videos on YouTube Shorts and stuff. He showed me this one. He's like, Dad, look at this one. What do you think? And it was, what would happen if Mexico decided to go to war with the United States? And it's like, blah, blah, they'd take Central America. They'd strengthen their base there, quietly build up their industrial capacity, start moving forward north to the United States. They'd put out pleas on social media and things like this to get Mexican citizens of the U.S. to turn against Mexico. Then they'd invade, blah, 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 blah. The tides would turn. Then the military would kind of turn their eyes on like, hey, this is a serious problem, and then beat them all the way back down to Mexico. But as soon as you showed me that video and put the title up, I was like, let me stop you right there.
Pump the brakes, kid.
That shit ain't happening.
I was reading something that said if we wanted to turn Canada into the 51st state, like one of the proposed ideas, it was, of course, this was like a social media user, but they're like, let's give them Washington, Oregon, and something else, maybe California, Washington, Oregon, and California, and then Canada would have to basically take on all of the welfare payments for all the stuff that they have to pay there, which would essentially bankrupt Canada.
Okay.
And then they would need to be bailed out so the U.S. could swoop in and buy it for pennies on the dollar, and at the same time reacquire Washington, Oregon.
This is where
California.
This is where their problems come apart. Is I think California might have if California is a country, might be the 5th highest GDP in the world.
And that's what one of the commenters said. Somebody's like, hey, genius, like who's going to make up for the GDP of California when they're gone?
Yeah, those motherfuckers pay a lot of taxes.
I was like, it said something like
state.
20 to 45% across the spectrum, but
that's one reason.
That's pretty funny.
They're never going to let California secede. Like, no, we need your cash.
Yeah,
but I mean, you get a lot of those billionaires that are fleeing.
Yeah.
This is kind of tight. No, we'll save that for a minute later. So yeah, going on with that, blah 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 blah. Cartel. So the big thing that caught my eye was, and I see this as a very big problem in the future. Right now, it just seems kind of cool because all these people helped get him elected, and they're in his corner. But did you notice who was sitting directly behind him?
I didn't see.
So he had all of these mega billionaires and CEOs sitting right behind him. They had better seats to the inauguration than his own cabinet members did. So we're talking
special interests.
Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook from Apple. What's the guy? I wrote it down because I can never remember saying. Shu Chu, who is the CEO of TikTok.
God bless you.
He's right. Exactly. CEO of TikTok's there. Sundar Pichai.
So is he the CEO of ByteDance then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Or there might be a separation.
Okay.
There may be a separation.
ByteDance owns TikTok. TikTok's run.
Yeah,
okay.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
But he's there, has a great seat.
No.
Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, part owner of the Alphabet company. Those guys are all right there, sitting behind Trump. What do you think the significance of that is?
That's huge.
Do you really think Trump's this independent man who's going to make his own decisions and do whatever the fuck he wants, especially when all these people keep giving him money?
Right.
They're still giving him money.
And maybe it appears that way to a degree, but you don't gallivant with all of these people. I think some of it's probably an ego stroke. Look at who my friends are.
Sure.
But they're only your friends as long as you're doing what's good for them.
Do you want to stay in the cool kids club?
Yeah, they're not going to be your friend if you start doing anything that affects them or hurts them, or they'll speak out against it.
This isn't even like Joe Blow billionaire. I mean, we're talking about people that control what you're allowed to hear in this country.
You know what billionaire wasn't there?
Who?
Taylor Swift.
Oh.
Just saying.
Oh.
Just saying.
She was probably on Kamala's plane on the way home. Probably chartered that flight for her. Oh.
Her and Beyonce.
Did you see Kamala Harris's flight crew on the way home?
No.
It was the first ever, I don't know what model plane it was. We'll just call it a C blah blah 30. The first all-female Air Force crew of a C blah blah 30.
Oh, Jesus. That's terrifying.
I love that Kamala Harris came into Washington, D.C. as a DEI hire, and she left the same way.
And she took them all with her.
Yeah. You can all go.
Yeah.
Like, really? Why do we have? That's all they care about is the first this, the first that, the first lesbian this, the first biracial that, the first all woman. Like, why do you fucking care? Is my plane gonna fly? Are we gonna be cool? Like,
door gonna stay on?
Yeah. What if there was
flight?
What if there was a male flight attendant on here? Did we got to get him out of there because he's not a female? Like, this is so fucking stupid.
Not if he's gay.
But then it's still not all female. Like, it wouldn't be the first.
Maybe he identifies.
It wouldn't be the first all female crew.
You don't know how he identifies. Don't assume gender roles.
But I don't know if that counts. Now you could have like a first all trans.
Okay.
Okay. But
so there needs to be a uniformity too. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
There does have to be a uniformity in the identity.
Okay.
Speaking of, this is so off topic, but I just ran across a random ass video of this. Talk about going on TikTok. I went on TikTok and saw this person. Somebody was roasting this person, but the video was talking about how their gender changes with the seasons.
Oh.
Have you seen this?
I have.
The most absurd thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. Can we, I hope to God we're putting that part of the country behind us. That is not somebody who.
I think they're slowly going to dwindle to like the far reaches of the social media platforms. Good. I don't think they're going to be front and center anymore because no one's going to pay attention.
Stop trying to normalize that shit.
But they definitely have their own audience that'll still participate.
And that's fine. But yeah, let's not try to shove it down. Yeah. That's mental illness. Stop trying to normalize
go back in the
that
closet.
Shit. Yeah. I could even, like, you're transgender, cool. Like,
go hide again.
Even that point, I'm like, okay, I get it. You identify this way. But it changes with the seasons, huh? Like, it's summer, like, I'm a gay man. Like,
so it's gender fluid?
It was very gender. It wasn't even like, now
I still think that's a crazy term.
It is. And that's exactly what this person was advocating, that they are completely gender fluid. And it wasn't even like, in summer, I'm a man. In winter, I'm a girl. It's like, in spring, I'm a gay man.
Yeah.
I'm a straight man here. Like, you're fucking insane.
It's an accessory. It's not an identity anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, hey, look at me. Look how crazy and unique I am.
Yeah.
Good riddance. So that was
loser.
That was awesome watching Biden and Kamala fly out of DC as Trump was fucking giving a speech to all his supporters. This was after the inauguration.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of struck a chord with me. All those tech billionaires sitting over there. That was very interesting.
The special interest aspect of politics is like something that definitely needs to be revamped somehow. Like that, they need to. Yeah, it's
the money in politics. It's
crazy,
just absolute corruption.
And I don't think that that's something that will ever go away in the future. Like now that it is what it is, it's never going to go away. And if it does, they'll find new ways and new loopholes, and it'll just be under the guise of a different.
Exactly. And Biden, in his final address to the nation here, warned about the tech oligarchy that's impending. I'm like, oh, now,
the guy, yeah.
Now you say something.
The guy who censored all of it?
Yeah. Like
the presidency? Yeah.
I'm glad you're saying something now on your last fucking day in office.
Well, it didn't work for him. So.
Yeah, we couldn't have talked about this 4 years ago.
No, because they were using it to their advantage.
Exactly. Yeah. But hey, this is a problem now that Elon and all those guys are sitting behind Trump. And it is a problem. You know, to his credit, it is a problem. Yeah. But hey, dickhead, we could have talked about this and maybe done something
for everybody all the time.
Also, to Biden's credit, he did actually, like, you know, his SEC is suing Google, like, for monopoly. Like, they're trying to break up Google, which that won't happen now.
Right.
Which is why Sundar Pichai is sitting right behind Trump.
Yeah, because he's safe.
So Google's going to be fine, but Biden was trying to break up Google, which absolutely has monopoly.
I still think it's wild the spring in his step he has now. Ever since, you know, those 6 months or whatever he was on vacation when Kamala was running, and like every time they showed him, ever since then, do you think it's just the stress of like the weight of the presidency off his shoulders? Like now he's just got a little pep. He's got a little George Bush pep.
Do you remember that one where he was like running?
Yeah, like jogged up the stairs.
Yeah, like dude. You were fucking falling
Which
over.
is why the internet was full of that's not Biden. That's some dude in a mask.
Yesterday you did.
That guy was shitting his pants.
You did this number and wandered off into the jungle the other day.
You did the robot and shit your pants, and now you're running upstairs?
That one was fucking nuts. That one was like, wait a minute. Maybe there's something to this.
Yeah. He ran backwards a couple steps, up a couple steps, did a little dance.
Did he just moonwalk? Yeah. The fuck was that? Oh, man.
Body double.
So then he got to work and started, after he did the oath of office, went and did like a big rally for all his supporters. And then he went into the Oval Office and got to work, signing a bunch of executive orders. I didn't get a chance.
He signed the most executive orders in one day, right?
Did he? I don't know.
That's what my brother was telling me for the president, the first day in office, like he signed the most executive orders in history.
Well, that's a very Trump thing to do. I've done the most. Joe Biden.
Some people say it's a lot. Yeah. I could have done more.
Could have done more. Yeah. I stopped.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I heard that.
Did you hear tones?
That was weird.
It sounded like we got fucking kicked out.
I was looking for the red light.
I did too. I'm like,
that's not PTSD. Don't worry.
No. You do that when you're walking through the
all
grocery
the
store,
time.
and all of a sudden,
A red light will flash on the side or something,
Yeah.
like catch your eye. Yeah.
fucking drives me nuts. The fuck was I saying?
You're talking about fuck, I got derailed too.
I know.
We're talking about the executive orders he signed into office.
Yes. So yeah, I didn't have time to go through all that because I worked last night and I didn't have time to catch up on all that. But a couple of things. One thing I saw that he pardoned like 1,500 something January 6ers.
Yeah.
That were either awaiting trial or had already been tried. I don't know what the logistics of that were, about 1,500 something people. I don't know if it's like a broad sweeping thing. Like, hey, if you're on this list, the FBI has, they want to talk to you, like you're pardoned. I don't know how that
Which is
worked.
awesome.
Which is great. I mean,
to a degree. I'm sure there's some people on there who need to be on there.
that's what I was saying.
That's
like,
the hard part.
Maybe there were a couple people on there that were beating officers senseless, shit like
Sure.
that. Maybe they were in the FBI. I don't know. I don't know if they have immunity.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I don't know what those
Or maybe they were even Antifa related. I wonder if that,
whatever.
Part of an extremist group who, trying to egg things on, like maybe they were there and they were part of the deal.
I should look more into that. I would encourage anybody else to look more into that. Maybe there are people that deserve to be arrested or tried that are still awaiting trial and not part of this pardons. But I saw that as a headline and I confirmed it was true. So that part's true, but I don't know who.
Yeah.
Who, what, why. Yeah, that's kind of all I took away from that, man. It was really, it just got me really worried. I don't know. Part of me was like super happy when it happened. I was like all proud, like, national anthem, all that shit.
We did it.
Carrie Underwood singing. I'm like, yeah. And like Hillary Clinton's back there, like scoffing at the Gulf of America thing. I'm like, shut up, bitch.
Yeah.
You
know your place.
The most bitter woman
back
in the
kitchen.
world. Shit. I can't stand her. And nothing makes me happier than her just having to eat shit anytime she's around Trump. I fucking love it.
What do you think about so it's been all over the internet obviously, but like Obama and Trump just fucking chumming it up, best buds, laughing, playing grab ass.
So my question was, why is Big Mike not there?
Yeah.
Because she wasn't there at Carter's funeral and she wasn't there at the inauguration. It's not like she came out and made a speech that says, I won't be attending for this reason. It's just like, she won't be attending.
Yeah.
Why? What's going on?
What do you think?
This is not what I think, but I can know what people are going to say. Gender reassignment surgery?
Well,
lopping off that crank?
Might be time.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not one of those guys that says that.
Yeah.
But I can see where people say like, wow, this is...
It feeds into the conspiracy because there's it kind of goes back to some of the other stuff. Like it's such an easily explainable thing. It's like it takes more effort to not explain it, which is like, okay, let the conspiracies run.
Yeah. I mean, just to that conspiracy, I'll just...
like
off the top of my head, debunking that, let's just say like she was going to get this surgery done, right?
Sure. You wouldn't schedule it that day.
Right, where you're expected to be in the public eye.
Maybe she's recovering.
But like she knew, like this is a day that we've known for 4 years.
We've got to be there.
Happening.
Right. January 20th, every 4 years.
The one thing I could see that caught her off guard is the Carter funeral. Like you didn't expect Jimmy Carter to die. I didn't prepare to be at this funeral.
Sure.
Got it. I was under the weather.
Maybe she's got the stomach bug that's sweeping all over the country.
She's got the norovirus that everyone's fucking shitting their pants about. Dude, I am so tired.
Shitty patients.
Tired.
Patients pooping.
That bothers me, but it doesn't bother me that they called because they're shitting their pants. I guess sometimes those things would be alarming. I am sick to death of grown men acting like fucking babies.
Yeah.
I'll call like nut and
bitches.
And some of them have girlfriends, and why? Like, what do they fucking think of you?
Yeah, they've got to be disgusted. Like they've got to be sitting there looking at them, going, "What the fuck?"
You've got other men judge you like, "Hey, you got to get up. You got to be able to stand up. You can't
buck up, little fella.
Dude,
like stand up."
I'm so tired of grown men acting like children.
Can you have access to B12?
B12. Yeah, give me a minute. Keep talking.
Do I need to cycle through?
No, I think I can get there.
Yeah, dude. It's funny, and all that does is kind of feed into the stereotype, like the stigma that women say, like when guys get sick, we're complete fucking babies. So those fuckers need to knock it off.
And I mean,
it gives us a bad rap.
So my wife she worked in the ED for, I don't know, a decade at a super busy hospital. And the first time I had COVID, I was super sick. Like it was a good bout of COVID. And I think this was day 2, maybe day 3. And I said something, I asked her to get me something. And she was like, look, I don't know how much longer I could take you being sick. Like dead serious. Like you need to fucking figure this out on your own.
Yeah.
I was like, and she'd been at work. I've been like, damn. It's not like I text her and ask her, but where's the cough medicine? I don't do that.
Yeah.
But like fucking heartless. So
So
I don't ever understand these women that fucking.
It's funny talking about poo. This was the worst responders posted this, and the guys that we work with, but it says how the combative poo-covered patient meets you at the door, ready to do battle. I've had that for a while. They do some funny memes, dude. And I was like, oh, that's pretty perfect, man.
That is accurate.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I get it. You shit your like we had somebody last night that was shitting their pants and throwing up. I get you're sick. I get it. We'll take you out, whatever. Don't be a bitch about it.
Yeah.
This like the women take it better than the men.
Yeah.
I will say that. Most time, a 40-something-year-old woman is a fucking nightmare for me to deal with.
Yes.
Like they are
most times.
Rough. But when it comes to just being like sick like that versus a man being sick like that,
it seems like they'll pony up and puke on the move.
Yeah.
More than a guy will. Guy needs
a minute.
I got 10 seconds to move and then I got to sit down.
Yeah, like he can't fucking. One guy's like pretty much dead. Like they were loading him up and like, hey, did you get a pulse on him? He looks dead. Like I was just joking. Like he looks dead. Like oh god.
Oh shit. Start compressions.
Yeah. But yeah, had a girlfriend that was sitting there babying him the whole time, the whole way to the hospital. I'm like, how do you people get women?
Yeah.
And there's good strong men out there that don't have one.
Websites.
Maybe.
Did you see Trump's new picture, his presidential picture?
It's very similar to the mugshot.
Almost identical to the mugshot. It's funny because my brother pulled up a side-by-side of like 8 years ago when he got in office. He's all smiles and happy, like I made it. Then this one is like, I'm going to come wreck shop. I'm getting you, bitch.
It was very similar to the mugshot. The fuck was I going to say? I don't know. We've been all over the place.
About 6 people, yeah.
I'm just so fucking all over the place. I have no idea where I even.
I love it. It's perfect.
I'm sorry about the randomness of this show, but it's fucking disaster.
A-to-D showing.
So instantly after Trump signs Doge into existence as one of his executive orders, they were sued.
Really?
Instantly. They were
Department of Government Efficiency.
Doge hit with lawsuits minutes after Trump's return. So they've been sued within minutes of Trump's inauguration as 47th president, with the AFGE and the Public Citizen filing a legal challenge in Washington, I think, for their existence as a government
as an entity.
Yep. Fucking instantly.
Did you see Elon's I rip my heart out and give it to you?
Yeah. We can talk about that.
Okay.
So instantly when I saw it, all I see is a screen grab.
Yeah.
And it's him doing this number. And I'm like, ooh.
Well, the first time he did it, he did this. Yeah. But he says, "I'm ripping. I give you my heart. I give you." Well, my heart. He
did the first one, then he turned around and did another one, and then he's like, "I give my heart to you."
Yeah.
Like when I just saw the screen grab, I'm like, ooh.
I'm gonna go out on a limb though, because he's got some zinger tweets and he's got some kind of tongue in cheek posts. Like he knows some of the shit he says can be taken one way or misconstrued. I think he did that movement on purpose.
I don't,
because they call Trump Hitler. Like,
I don't, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I think you see him on stage pumping the fist and jumping around like a fucking lunatic. Like, first of all, he's a fucking nerd.
You think he's just a nerd? He doesn't know. Nerd. Yeah.
I think he is super high functioning somewhere on the spectrum.
Oh, for sure.
Autistic
he has to be. Yeah.
Nerd.
Yeah.
And that was just one of those spastic movements that he makes when he's fucking pumped and celebrating. Like totally like, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he knew what he was doing, tried and played it off, but like did that move, that gesture specifically just to be a troll.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but I think when you do stuff like that, there has to, if you're going to say he's a Nazi doing the Heil Hitler, there's got to be a little intent behind it.
Sure.
And I do.
If you don't listen to the words he's saying,
he's not sitting there, advocating for the Aryan race and the extermination of Jews. He's actually incredibly for the H-1B1 visas, which brings in foreigners to work in the United States. So he's clearly not against foreigners, although you could argue that lines his pocket and helps his business. But it's not like he's saying we need to exterminate all foreigners and go for the Aryan race.
Right.
He's like, at the very least, I need them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there has to be intent when you're talking about giving the Heil Hitler thing. At first, when I saw that, I'm like, woo.
I didn't think
there's got to be something to it.
Yeah, I didn't think there was anything to it. I just felt like possibly he was trolling people with the movement. Because he knew people, it would piss off one side of.
You can't fucking discount that.
No.
I mean, yeah, that's something he could do.
Yeah.
I just thought it was him being spastic, but you saying that, I'm like, okay, maybe.
I only say that and think that is because some of the tweets he's made, some of the comments he made, he kind of trolls people on his own platform.
He totally does.
He says some pretty funny shit sometimes. Maybe he saw that as like, hey, this would be funny, watch this.
Maybe. It totally could have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't discount it. But yeah, he's not a Nazi. But every fucking lefty fucking grabs onto it and like, look, I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
He's ushering in the age of Nazism.
Especially if you don't take into consideration like what he said, the words that were coming out of his mouth while he was doing it.
Dude, somebody posted, one of my Facebook friends who was a firefighter, retired firefighter, posted something on Facebook yesterday saying that America and the world just got a little better today. And then another retired firefighter chimes in. He's like, there's another country that thought the same thing in 1936.
Oh, Jesus.
And then they started getting them back and forth. And the one is saying, there's a lot of similarities between what's happening now and what happened in 1930s Germany. I'm like, dude, hold on. Like,
there's not a lot of similarities.
I never reply to any of these things. I'm like, let's fucking pump the brakes. I'm so fucking tired of okay.
An election took place.
I was like, to compare him to Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany is insane. I can't remember what I said. It's like, you're trying to compare him to a man that started the systemic genocide of 6 million Jews, started a war that killed some 60 million more people, and is one of the worst villains the modern history has ever known. And you're going to take some comparisons that you think you saw in 1930s Germany to now and call him Hitler? Like, that's so far off base. Like, I don't even know where to start. You're completely trivializing all the atrocities, all the crimes, and all of the trauma that those people went through during that time just by calling him Hitler and a Nazi. Like, you are completely taking away any meaning to those words and who Adolf Hitler was. Yeah. Like, I'm so fucking over it.
It's funny because they were talking about that on the radio this morning, and the host brought up a great point, but like, it's gotten to be where the opposing side always refers to the other side as Hitler. Like, when Obama first got sworn in, like, the right was calling him the future Hitler. Like, he was the next Hitler. Like, that was...
Well, no, they're communists.
They're communists. But I'm saying, like, these terms, it's like they try to find the most hurtful term that they can say without it being a racial slur. But both sides do it.
They
absolutely
do. Like, the right calls the left fucking communists and socialists, and then
the
they
left calls the right
Nazis, fascists and Nazis. You are truly diminishing what happened then. Now, if you want to be on alert for what happened then and like pretense for the future, like, hey, let's not ever do that again. Absolutely. We should be on the lookout for those things. But like, it blows my mind when you're talking about people think that they are some great historian because they saw a few news bites about the similarities between Hitler's election and Trump's rise to power. And like, you have to go back to World War I and the Treaty of Versailles to understand everything that went into Germany's attitude and what led to even him getting elected. And they are so fucking wildly different. Like, it's not even close to the same thing. Yeah. Like, other than I've talked about before, like, we're humans. We like to find patterns. And if we want to, we're going to find one.
Right.
But I could probably find patterns between Obama being elected and Stalin being elected if I wanted to.
Right.
Or not Stalin elected because he just fucking went into power. But I mean, they're just everywhere. And I'm so fucking tired of it, man. You just take away the meaning of all that shit. Like the race. Everyone's a racist.
Yeah.
Well, we're all racist and no one's a racist.
Well, I mean, that's why
meaning.
That's why they call it political theater. It's, it's all an act, it's all a show, it's all entertaining. It's like how much drama. It's just like all the reality TV shows. Like, how much drama can you create, whether it's there or not? I mean, you hear about some of these people on these, like, just talking about the shows. Like, we had a friend that was on one of those cooking shows, challenge deal. And she said there was no drama between any of them. But like, when they go off camera, they'd be like, man, did you hear so-and-so said that? Like, what do you think about them? And they would just get like, they would implant this, like, it sounded like they insulted you. What's your fire back? And then they would take that and show it to somebody else. And that's all it is these sound bites. And that's how politics has become. It's just these sound bites or these clips taken out of context. And so it just makes everybody hate everybody even more. And we've talked about this a million times. Nobody does their own research. Nobody goes back to the original clip. No one watches the full length clip to actually take it in context.
Well, just like everyone's going to take that screenshot of Elon Musk
Hitler,
and he's Hitler. So that I'm just
stupid.
I'm so fucking over it. I hope we can put that nonsense behind us and actually.
Highly unlikely, John.
Like, there's a lot of criticisms that could be made of Donald Trump, but he's not Adolf Hitler. Stop that shit.
Yeah. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. I mean,
there's always a chance.
But he might decide to put people in concentration and work camps and systematically eliminate 6 million people. Oh, this is
deportation.
It's happening. Fuck.
You're all gone.
Damn it. So you want to talk about the cartel being a terrorist organization?
So by him making them a terrorist organization, and from my understanding of what I read and what I've talked about with my other brother, that allows him to use the full weight of the military to go after them, correct? Like that's the importance of that.
He doesn't even have to have a declaration of war. He can just do it. He doesn't need Congress to say, okay, you can do it. He can just say, go get them, boys.
So he can be up at midnight watching spec ops go in and
kind of like the way we got away with bombing Yemen and Libya and Pakistan and Afghanistan and Syria and the list goes on.
Because they're terrorists.
They're terrorists. There are terrorists there. They have camps. There's a hotbed. The government's allowing them to be there. So here come the drones.
Part of me wants to think, just from a not conspiracy, but the other side of things is like, I think Big Pharma just doesn't want the competition anymore. He's gonna go
wipe them out.
He's gonna go wipe all them out. So we have to have Big Pharma for everything. You can't get anything anywhere else.
Like you have to buy these pills. I'm sorry.
Weird.
One part of me started thinking like, okay, if we were to actually send in these tier 1 assets, special operations, they can absolutely do the job, but they don't exist in a vacuum. You're going to need air support. What does that look like in Mexico? How much leeway are they giving us, putting fucking drones in there, C-130s, fucking any kind of helicopters, infill, extract, all that shit. Let's say we start kicking ass down there, which they will. We're going to kill a lot of fucking people if that's what we want to do. If you want to get some drug lord, you send in fucking Delta, fucking DevGru, Navy SEALs, like you're going to kill them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a Hydra. Another head's going to pop up, right?
And that's the big argument is when you do things like that, a place like Mexico, where, obviously it runs super deep, you get rid of one guy, it just gives rise for another person. And it oftentimes, I mean, they show this stuff in movies too. Like oftentimes that next group may not be controllable. That next group may be worse and more lethal and ruthless than the group that was before them.
Hey, you get rid of Saddam Hussein in Iraq and it leads rise to fucking AQI fucking controlled by Iran and Iraq. So, I mean, the devil right?
And that's exactly it, yeah.
And I started thinking even darker than that. Like, okay, let's say we start doing some fucking truly tactical hits in Mexico.
What's that look like for the southern border and people coming over here to our people?
What does that look like in San Diego, LA, Phoenix, like in all these other cities where like, okay, now
parts of Texas,
we're going to bomb a nightclub now. Like you want to bring it to us, we're going to terrorize your cities.
Yeah.
And then, okay, all of a sudden you're going to be a little suspicious of every Mexican you see on the street.
Yeah.
What is that like? I think
it's going to be 9/11 all over again.
I really started thinking about that a lot last night. I'm like, that's a
shitty place to be.
I think it's a bad idea. Like there's got to be some other way you can go about crippling the cartels other than hits.
Yeah.
Which we're pretty good at. We know we can kill a lot of people when we want to. But
there's going to be tons of casualties involved in that if that's the direction we go.
There's going to be a lot of blowback. Like this isn't going to Afghanistan. This is on our border, and they're here in our towns right now.
They're here already.
They're here.
How many have just been walking across the border for the last 4 years?
Millions. I mean, it's
possibly 15 to 20 million.
I think dude, I did the math on that. Like, even if you rounded them all up tomorrow, 15 to 20 million, if we had them all tomorrow and they said, all right, I vote to go back, you couldn't export them all fast enough in the next 4 years. You can't. So
logistically,
it can't happen. No, it's not like you can just like put them on the other side of the border.